Game started.
Okay, welcome to another Blitz game. I think last time I played e4, so I'm going to try d4, see how it goes. I'm playing Denny from Sweden. Hey, Denny. Okay, c4, and then d4, and then c4. It's the usual move. Okay, so he's allowing me to play the Nimzo Indian if I want to. I like to play this as white, so that's knight to c3. But he goes to the Queen's Gambit instead. So I play this line of the Queen's Gambit where I put the pawn on e3 to protect my c pawn, and then I develop my knight to f3. And do I want to do anything about this pin? Well, let's just ask the bishop what it's planning to do there.
Check.
Okay. Yeah, so I put my bishop here. I opened up that line so I could take with the bishop. Let's go ahead and do that. Now he hits the bishop. This gives him some control over the squares, c4 and a4. I think I'm going to go here, leave this pawn backwards, and try to push my e-pawn forward. And I can't do that just yet. I'm going to castle first. Then think about how to push my e-pawn. So there's two ways. I could put the rook behind it, but then he could just plop his knight right there. My other option, though, is I could get my knight out of the way. Say knight to here or to here and defend that square, and then push the pawn forward. If I go here, I'm going to just get kicked by the pawn, so I'm going to play the knight to d2. Now, I haven't started looking at tactics yet, which is a bit dangerous. So there may be some in this position, but I am looking forward to playing e4. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And let's see if I can maintain some alertness here. So now it looks like he can start chipping away at my center by playing c5. And if I move my knight around to get out of the way of this bishop, it's going to cause some problems. Well, let's move the bishop here first. Let's see what he does. I was thinking maybe I should go ahead and push the pawn to e5, but I can wait for this move. The bishop is supporting the pawn on d4 already. And just maintain d4 and e4 for a while. For another minute or two. But he can push ahead if I ignore that. And is that so bad? Let's leave that there and see what he does. And then I think I do want to push to e5 here. I'm kind of chasing this knight away. He doesn't have squares over here. Where does he go? I guess he goes back to e8. Oh, so I'm sorry. Of course, he comes forward to this square. Much better square. And my cursory glance, yeah, I just realized I was protecting these areas. But anyway, my idea here is to pin that knight. I can maybe develop pressure on it by putting the queen to f3. This pawn on d4 is still adequately supported, it appears. It's funny that his knights in this position don't seem to be putting much pressure on me. Getting my queen over here, it might be a good idea anyway, just to attack his kingside. He goes for f5. That's going to stop some of my counterplay. What do I want to do now? I think I will just take here. He's going to get some good pieces, but he will have a weak pawn. And we'll see how it goes. So I think I need to retreat my bishop and put my knight on this square, probably. So where does the bishop go? How about if the bishop drops all the way back to c2? can maneuver this knight to the e5 square. That might be a good post for the knight. I have to be careful about all my loose pieces here. These are defended by the queen. This is loose. The knight has some squares he could come into. Maybe this square, this square, this square. Okay, let's pause for a second. Yeah, I still think I want to develop my knight to this e5 square. I'm just wondering if what I'm losing. I'm leaving behind these squares, which are not, I'm leaving these unprotected, but he's not threatening to go there. And it does lend more support to this pawn. On e5, the knight will be attacking the rook. I still want to kind of get my queen over here and launch an attack, but he's pretty well secured his kingside with these knights here. Yeah, he can go to that square. And the bishop can take my knight. So, and he's also attacking this pawn, but it's defended. And if there's an exchange here, well, there's not going to be an exchange here, so let's go ahead and play that. He can take this pawn. I'll let him have that pawn in exchange for, I'll take his rook here. Yeah, that was an oversight. I forgot that this knight was blocking the bishop, and they were, bishop and knight together were ganging up on this square. So I need to defend this square somehow. And he simultaneously attacked my bishop over here, which is pretty annoying because I have to move the bishop too. Yeah, looks like I blundered here. He's getting a good game. I'm going to go this way, get out of the line of that rook, and if I can chase that knight away, I can take this pawn here with check. Actually, regardless how he takes here, if he takes with the bishop, I can still take there with check, because when he recaptures, then I'll take the bishop. Let's see if that works. So I go here, check. If he moves the king, I take the rook. And then if he takes the rook, I can take his bishop or retreat my bishop. And if he moves, and if he doesn't move the king, if he takes the bishop with the knight, then I can take the bishop. Now, this is going to leave my king exposed. But I don't have much choice here, actually. Do I have other good moves? There's the knight hitting a couple squares over here, and there's the queen. But I need to do something.
Check.
So let's try this. Yeah, his knights, what I was thinking was getting the queen over here, but his knights are guarding all these entry squares for the queen. Well, let's see how he responds. Oh, he moved the king. So now I could move my rook out of the way. His bishop is still hanging. I mean, if I move my rook out of the way, my bishop is not hanging because it's not under attack. His is not hanging because nobody's threatening the knight. You know, this knight is loose. I could also threaten the knight with my queen. He takes the rook. I take the knight. He retreats. I take the rook. He takes mine. So I would get a knight instead of the bishop. How about if I just move the rook out of the way? See where he goes. There's a nice trick here. If the bishop were defended, he could checkmate me by playing knight to h3 here. But as it is, when he plays knight h3, check, then I could just take the bishop. Now this is interesting. So he is threatening to come here with the queen and then mate me on this square. I can block the queen with my pawn here. Pawn to f3 to block the queen. This is defended. This is loose, but I have no time to attack it because I'm just going to get mated. So let's defend. That's a nice way to come in and attack on the 7th rank there. So I need to get... Oh, I have no good square for the bishop. Yeah, let me oppose the rook. If he takes my bishop, I can take his rook. If he takes my rook, I can take back with the bishop and put the bishop on a good square hitting that knight. He's got a check here, which I can go to h1, I guess I want to go to. Pretty ugly. Trapped in a corner like that.
Check.
Or he can play his knight there. Now, this is bad. Yeah, this is going to be losing. So, I can't go to any of these squares, and I can't take the knight. So I can only go to h1 or f1. If I go to h1, then he has this move here, check, with the knight. Knight here to check. Let's show you that. Oh, I can't do that here. So king h1, knight f2, check, and he wins the queen for a knight, which is pretty strong. Or if I go to f1, then rook here is mate. So let me play it out to checkmate.
Checkmate.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to follow up with a little post-mortem video, take a look at the opening and some of the missed tactics, and see you guys then. Bye.